their loaded backpack. What is he saying? He's saying scabs are supposed to extract camp? And you have to swallow a whole lot more. Expect scabs camping extract points. Why does he keep saying that? Scabs don't extract camp that much. Did you guys get extract camped a lot by a scab? Bandaging a wound mid firefight or having to desperately feed bullet into your magazine your life is about to depend on. Bro, this guy is good. This guy knows the game 100%. This other guy was talking about scab extract camping like 3 times in a row. Like, I'm like, what? Are perhaps the best in video games, except the desync and hit registration, and the feeling of limping into an extraction point with empty bags and a bag full of loot is something that's kept me coming back for the last decade. I like this guy's review. Hello guys, so we're gonna read some Tarkov reviews from PC Gamer and also GamesRadar Plus. So Nikita posted this just now. Dreamed of this moment, that someday my game will be on PC Gamer, rated so high. From the bottom of my heart, thank you PC Gamer for this moment. And we checked, it was 90 out of 100. You'll never get out. Escape from Tarkov review. Very interesting, I'm super excited to read it. Let's go! Every time I make a kill in Escape from Tarkov, it's over in a flash. This is not down to skill. Sometimes in Tarkov, you'll be sitting there, minding your own business, reading, when 2 players literally, I don't even know what that means, walk by, no idea you're there, and even with the pop gun, it will be easiest double kill you'll ever score. Alright, death is almost always instantaneous in Tarkov and it's everywhere. I mean, this is a completely viable thing to happen. You're just doing your quest and you hear a sound and you drop someone because somebody hop into the corner. But the problem is those 2 guys are gonna say, big rat, biggest rat I ever seen. That happens all the time. The last thing you do after a kill is loot the corpse. Nearby, there's always another one. Nearby players will have heard the shots and scabs in particular will swarm to the area. You might as well have sent up a flare. So what I usually do after I kill someone is just get the F out of there. I mean, I can loot them, but I loot on scabbing and I do questing and killing on PMC. If I kill something as a PMC, I just dip, usually. I can loot them if I need something. But anyways, start sorting through those pockets and you are dead meat. I bravely hide in a what? Nearby corner, watching the corpse. What? This guy played Tarkov a lot. And mentally run through my next steps. Give it 30 seconds, give it a minute, give more often than not comes to pitter-patter of scab steps towards your lupinata, snap, crack, bushwhacked. Is this guy a poet? Tie another one to the racks, baby. What? What's going on? I hear Michael Stipe's, I don't know who that is, voice in the distance when I die too. Escape from Tarkov is a lot of time, pure punishment. I've been rubbish at a lot of shooters, but so rarely does one rub it in your face with such unadulterated glee before crowing. I have no clue what he's saying, but I understand from the context, right? It's weird, right? I don't know what he's saying. Tactical waiting? It's a bit weird, right? I don't understand. Like, I get it from the context, but I don't understand it really. Anyways, get better. The biggest tribute you can pay to Tarkov is that you want to get better. I kind of feel like he's trying too hard to be, like, you know, a smart guy, you know, using like a difficult word. I mean, I guess as a critic he can do that, but I hate usually people doing that. But I find it kind of funny. Let's move on. That's worth pausing on right at the start, because so much of what I'm about to say of Tarkov will make this game sound like an exercise in masochism. And it can be. But Tarkov also offers a kind of high-stakes precision to PvP that doesn't exist any elsewhere outside of the most hardcore milsims, and does it within an RPG-light wrapping of incomplete information and outright obfuscation. I think I know what he's trying to say. This is one of the biggest reasons why I played this game, the RPG light thing. What the hell is an obfuscation? I played Escape from Tarkov many times before. This game first released as an alpha in 2016, and while I wasn't in at the very start, the core was always there. Brutal precision shooting and labyrinthian maps married to an Excel nerd's wet dream of an inventory and loot system. And atop this is a spider's web of bottlenecks and quests that will make you comb every inch of Tarkov like a sociopath Lumba. Okay. Guys, I am non-English user who is speaking English as much as possible. English is my second language. I'm trying my best, but it's really hard to understand. I can kind of understand what he's trying to say, but I think he's trying too hard at the same time. Let's go. First steps. The introductory experience is a lot better than it once was. The full release of Tarkov now has what qualified as a genuine tutorial, even though what the game has to teach you is so vast and ungraspable for hours to come. I think he's talking about the tutorial. The depths of, he literally said it, the depths of the Tarkov's movement and shooting systems is unmatched. From controlling your exact walking speed to lean outs, sight adjustments, different types of blind fire. I don't really use those. Maybe some people use it for, don't people use it for memeing? And how weight and injuries affect everything. That is definitely annoying for sure. When you are crouched in Tarkov and you stand up to begin walking or running, there is a notable delay before the movement speed picks up, which is inertia, because the game is simulating your character getting off their knees to an upright position. Well, yeah, that. You will be sterilely eyed at the amount of button combos splashed up upon the loading screens, the seemingly endless options for tweaking every variable that exists. But that may also be because you're looking out of the window while Tarkov takes 8 minutes to find a match. Right at the start of Tarkov, you choose whether your main character, your mercenary, which is PMC, will be part of USEC or Bear forces, essentially stand-ins for NATO and the Russian military. This character will be your focus throughout Tarkov, where all of your inventory management and consequence is concentrated. And each time you take them in, you'll need to equip and armor them at considerable expense, okay? As well as this character, you can enter Tarkov every 20 minutes or so as a scav, a free character, yes, with a capable of, if crappy, loadout that spawns at different points of the map. The goal as a scav is to get in, get something, ideally by killing a merc at extraction, okay, extracting camping, is he saying? And nicking their loaded backpack. What is he saying? He's saying scavs are supposed to extract camp? Get out and then give it to all your main character. Interesting. You choose a map and one of the 2 times of day to load into that map, and after what is usually a lengthy wait, spawn in. Yeah, he's talking about the matchmaking time. He didn't really mention it directly that there's an issue about it, but whatever. From here is anyone's guess, but the first thing you will learn is that Tarkov's combat is incredibly precise and incredibly precise with a bunch of desync, and death isn't just around every corner, it's in every bush, behind every doorway, and everywhere around you, even from the sky. You just have to accept that you are going to die a lot to begin with, and often leave entire sessions empty-handed. Alright, let me read what you guys are saying. AI writing is ass. You think it's AI? I think it's a little bit more than AI. It could be, but I don't think so. I haven't seen AI writings for a while, but definitely human input for sure. Desvidania, comrade. This is Tarkov, welcome. And you have to swallow a whole lot more. Expect scabs camping extract points. Why does he keep saying that? Scabs don't extract camp that much. Did you guys get extract camped a lot by a scav? Teams of mercs that will stake out one location and cut you down instantly in crossfire. The distant crack of a shot that fatally wounds your character. And then the ignominy of slowly bleeding out. Your character's breathing raggedly turns into gas. Their movement slowing to a crawl to the point where a bullet to the head is a mercy. Yeah, the more and more it does sound like AI a little bit, to be honest. Like, I don't know, I've never seen a writing like this. I thought he was trying to be a poet, like, or something like that. And that's during the day. Tarkov's nighttime rays are more terrifying than alien isolation. Okay. Light is deadly, using a torch is begging to be shot, and you are apparently surrounded by elf-eared psychopaths. What the fuck does mean elf-eared psychopaths? What is it saying? What does that even mean? What? I am so confused. With night vision goggles, on one occasion I heard shuffling nearby and stayed quiet as a mouse. But soft-bellied loser that I am, I must make a noise. Everything was silent, and I strained to hear any movement. Then a monotone voice said, "Boo." And what? Before I could even spin the camera, I was shot in the back of the... Okay, guys, what is going on? Big ears and good hearing, I guess. Okay, that does kind of make sense. The elf? What? What is going on in this writing? Okay, guys, I want to ask, did anybody read the PC Gamer review? I never read it, ever. This is my first time reading it because it's Tarkov, but this is weird. Some weird-ass writing. I mean, I read some other reviews on other games. They don't use AI writings. I mean... It feels weird though. Anyways, one nice quality of life feature is that Tarkov now heals new players for free for first 10 levels or 30 raids. That was a thing from like 4 wives ago, but alright. Healing is yet another layer of complexity on Tarkov's dizzying internal systems, whereby the injuries your characters receives are persistent after raids, and you have to pay resources or items to fully heal damaged limbs and the like. The game will also let you wait it out with a mobile style timer. Okay. And when I first got into Tarkov, there was no such leeway for newer players, and the game felt like it was punishing you for trying to learn. You either spend way more resources than you should staying healthy, or just constantly scabbed it. Yep, scabbing. I always tell you guys, whatever the problem you have in your life, just scab it. That's all you gotta do in Tarkov. Tarkov is already so forbidding, so much to get your head around, that automating elements like this for a while makes complete sense, and no one should have an issue with new players getting free heals between rounds, okay? Tarkov does make you realize how much almost every other shooter holds your hand, sometimes in ways so common we don't even realize. Case in point, you don't get a map in Tarkov. Yep, that was like one of the bad reviews that BSG was getting for Tarkov. Somebody left a review, bro, this game doesn't have a map. Bad review. And then like Nikita didn't like it, so he mentioned in the Russian interview. You can sometimes find them, yeah, which is completely useless. You're thrown into these places and have to learn landmarks, extractions, and good loot spots through trial and error. You will die learning where scabs are likely to spawn, and the next time you get near that area, which could be many hours later, feel your fingers tense over the keyboard. Okay, now he sounds completely like human. He sounds completely like a human. Until like here, it sounded really weird what he was trying to say. Anyways, slowly memorizing the maps and acquiring a gut feel for how these twisted landscapes tend to play out is one of the moment-to-moment joys in Tarkov. The kind of mechanical depth that really makes you appreciate the beauty of this blasted, burned out, and hopeless place. Yes, you can spend half your life in game and half alt-tabbing, but at that point, why are you even playing Tarkov? So he's denying the part where people use Tarkov wiki or the maps? I think it's almost a must. Alright, yeah, I kind of saw the chat, but I'll keep on reading. Then there's the inventory and loot management, and absolutely Byzantine system of everything from toilet paper to stewed beef, which is, I think he's talking about Tushonka, to GPUs that feeds into your upgradable hideout, trader missions, and eventually the player-led flea market, which unlocks at level 15. You gradually internalize Tarkov's petty but logical ways and understand that almost every problem has a 5-step or maybe a 17-step solution. What? Yeah, like trying to fix Lightkeeper in PvE local that we had to do like 50 other steps or whatever, I don't know. You wouldn't believe how pandemic this gets. If you've got a gun with 0 ammo loaded, for example, and a bunch of that gun's caliber of ammo, you'd likely think that selecting reload on the right click menu would reload the gun. Your naivety is endearing, little Westerner. What you have to do is unload the gun's empty magazine, find the magazine in your inventory, fill the magazine with bullets, and only then reload the weapon. What? Is this a Russian guy writing down in English? It kind of sounds like it all of a sudden. There are downsides to such a baroque system of wheels within wheels, endless timers, and cyclical inventory loadout management. The stash is always your enemy. Never big enough. I agree on that. Always demanding huge investments. That's why I bought every bigger stash possible to get to the next level. I think stash leveling up is the best upgrade in this game, for sure. The constant inventory tweaking and stock checking can be a grind. It improves as you grow more familiar with the items and systems, but there are always times you are bottlenecked on one stupid thing. Yeah, like the desire sensor in Tarkov. It's definitely there. Or just want to play without visiting 5 separate screens to put together a decent loadout. I mean, a lot of QLs kind of solve that. That goes for Tarkov more generally. This game gives you back what you put into it, but there's no denying it's an enormous time sink, and at times you will spend entire evenings achieving nothing of note. Oh yeah, definitely. It is a game where that is comfortable with punishing players, and it will do so for the most minor of missteps. It gets easier, of course. You gradually internalize Tarkov's petty but logical ways and understand that almost every problem has a 5-step or maybe a 17-step solution. I just read it here. I'd go so far as to say if you are not really into shooting and just absolutely love menu management, this might be like a World Series. Good point. Oh, they play 1.0. Shoreline. No, the fish woman. This is Woods, Old Sawmill, Customs, Sniper Tower, Tutorial, Ground Zero, Interchange Power Station throwing a green grenade, green smoke, Eating Glass. Yay. Escape from Tarkov is a very specific game for a very specific type of player, like you and me, you psychos. The reality is that Tarkov, for all its brutality and brilliance, has been outmaneuvered in places by the younger generation of extraction shooters, okay, which do offer some similar experiences in a much more bite-sized and friendly form. Escape from Tarkov's excellence can be buried under so many layers of needless busy work that sometimes you do think it'd just be easier to load up our creators. Okay, what is this guy trying to do? But if you want an absolutely amazing core gunplay, oh, definitely agree, experience, where you have to spend 15 minutes rearranging suitcases before another go, I don't like that part, but then boy do I have the game for you. And even that is to do Tarkov a disservice, because the consequences are the point. There's an undeniable frisson to finding valuable loot, killing other players, and extracting in Tarkov that no other shooter of this type matches. A stomach tightening sense that this matters and you have to make it count. Yeah, he has a good point, yeah. This is a game that every so often inspires almost physical sensations. In the novella More Pricks Than Kicks, Samuel Beckett goes into an extraordinary detail on a character called Balakwas lusted after lunch. 2 slices of burnt toast, spread with salt, cayenne, I almost said Kanye, pepper, and mustard, filled with the smelliest piece of gorgonzola he can find. That character ends his brief cameo happily. Okay, what is this? We live and learn. That was a true saying. Also, his teeth and jaws and the bend in heaven, splinters of what? Vanquished toast spraying force at each gnash. It was like eating glass. His mouth burned and ached with the exploit. Okay, so he's trying to like quote for some novel, which is cool, but I have no clue what this is. Maybe you guys know. I don't know what it is. Putting a score on Tarkov is like putting a score on a crazy story you once read but can't forget. A piece of the advice of the experience lodges in your mind. It is not yet known whether Belekwa has escaped from Tarkov, but he's the type alright. Okay, I'll give you a better one for this quote. This was too long. I think this guy explains Tarkov the way better than this guy, way better than this PC gamer guy, at least for now. In my opinion, Tarkov is like the world's tastiest cake, but it's riddled with insects. I love that phrasing. It's literally Tarkov. Whew, to be honest, not one player from stream can put up a legit review as they have not had or played the game long enough to be valid. Maybe? But like more than that, I don't think people can be like pretty objective to write a review. In my opinion, I can't, I think. I'll try if I need to. PC Gamer is German company, okay. That's a fun way to put it. It fits 100%. Great reading, finally. I don't know how long it took. It took like 30 minutes, I think. This was dog shit. To be honest, at the start, like 1 out of 3, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And then after that, I'm like, okay, this guy is an actual human writing. Yeah, the first part was I was super flipping confused what he was trying to say. Is there like a top comment or something, guys? Newest. Most liked. Most liked is 1 like. Most replies. I don't know. I'll just read a couple of them. It's only 9 comments. I'm guessing the review doesn't factor in the rampant cheating. Of course, cheating. The depths of Tarkov's moment. Like what? Lol, a 90 puts it with some of the best games ever made and an instant recommendation to any gamer who doesn't hate shooter as a rule. Somehow I doubt that, given how much even the fans of the game constantly complain about it. I definitely don't recommend Tarkov. Only the guys who is so into FPS game, but who has never experienced Tarkov and who has interest for Tarkov for so long, those guys I definitely recommend it, but I don't recommend Tarkov in general. I think up until Arc Raiders came out, and now this review, I completely misunderstood what an extraction shooter is. Tarkov extraction shooter and Arc Raider extraction shooter is completely different in my opinion. The only similarity is the word itself. There's extraction and there's shooting. But everything else is completely different. Tarkov shooting and Arc Raider shooting is completely different. Extraction Tarkov and Arc Raiders extraction, I guess those can be similar in my opinion. Remove the outside problems. However, cheating and broken promises cause changing editions, locking new things. I mean, does those kind of things go into reviews a lot? I think it does, right? Yeah, they definitely ignore that part. The concept of the game is phenomenal. You spend more time managing your inventory and preparing for the actual raid than in the actual raid, which absolutely brings the military survival vibe. The game has been plagued by server glitches since its release. The optimization is terrible. Definitely agree. Slowly memorizing maps and yada yada yada. Like Call of Duty, the game unfortunately became a haven for shortcut mentality gamers who are not skilled as shooters and resort to cheating. This time it's GAMESRADAR. Escape from Tarkov review. An extraction shooter that will make you truly miserable if you let it, but can offer dizzying highs you won't find elsewhere. Okay. GAMESRADAR plus verdict. The prototypical extraction shooter, Escape from Tarkov is shooter I've been playing for the past decade and will be playing for years more. Sublime firefights and just complicated enough mechanics make this a great game to lose yourself in, but the immersion only lasts until you need to check the wiki, which is constantly when you are just starting out. Of course. Pros: phenomenal firefights, agree. Detailed economy, meh. Great map design, it's good map, maybe except Lighthouse. Cons: confusing quest system, No, not really. The quests are just pretty straightforward and weird. It's just simple and repetitive. Or maybe he's talking about getting Kappa is like, you know, hard to understand which one you need to do quest. I guess he's trying to say. Late game gear skews balance too far towards experienced players. Okay. Obtuse design. I have no clue what that means. Escape from Tarkov set the standard for extraction shooters. If you played Arc Raiders or one of the it's all Arc Raiders, one of the other success stories in the genre, this FPS might feel familiar. You go into a dangerous map filled with the combination of AI and real life opponents, fill your bag with loot, and hustle towards an exit. Extract and you get all your loot, which can be used or flugged off to traders and other players. Die and you lose everything. Okay, this guy is way more easy to read compared to the other guy. I hate it, I love it, but the key thing is that while it's a deeply clunky game, Escape from Tarkov, he's being pretty honest too. I don't think the other guy even said this. Escape from Tarkov's shootouts are perhaps the best in video games, except the desync and hit registration, and the feeling of limping into an extraction point with empty bags and a bag full of loot is something that's kept me coming back for the last decade. I like this guy's review. With 5,000 hours already spent in Tarkov, I'm having a fresh start to see how the game's long-awaited 1.0 release holds up. Mechanically sound. Escape from Tarkov is a brutal, uncaring game that doesn't care much whether you make it to the extraction zone or not. Deaths in Tarkov will often feel unfair, but they usually teach a lesson. Even if lesson is people shoot from that window or condensed milk is not good for hydration. Okay, he's trying to be funny too, it seems. Picking a loadout involves not just selecting and outfitting your gun, but also remembering to bring magazines for the gun and to load those magazines with ammunition, in addition to loading your pockets with spare rounds for when you inevitably need to top them back up. Those rounds all do different amounts of armor penetration. Some of them will be more accurate or have a higher chance to cause a bleed, while some could even make your gun malfunction. I like this guy's review a lot more, guys. This guy is way better. That other guy was so like I'm like, what is he talking about? Gear maintenance involves not just repairing your armor, but occasionally pulling out damaged plates and replacing them with new ones. Okay, this guy definitely played a lot. You update your hideout along the way, scavenging wires and bulbs to make yourself a little home away from home. Wow, okay, I like this guy. If you're listening to this and salivating, congratulations. Escape from Tarkov is for you. Still, there's a learning curve that's near vertical in your first 100 hours of play. The reward for this time and perseverance is phenomenal moment to moment gunplay and deep progression that rivals most MMOs. Huge realistic maps make firefights feel more real as you push through building sites, abandoned cities, city blocks, and even lumber yards in pursuit of loot. These environments make sniping and longer distance combat feel more interesting than nearly any other live game that I've seen, while being peppered with some machine gun fire interchange offers close quarters intensity that few games truly capture. The brilliance comes from the pairing low time to kill with deep mechanical complexity, bandaging a wound mid-firefight, or having to desperately feed bullet into your magazine your life is about to depend on. Bro, this guy is good. This guy knows the game 100%. This other guy was talking about scab extract camping like 3 times in a row. Like, I'm like, what? War economy. Escape from Tarkov's secret sauce is the player-driven community economy underpinning every aspect of it. Escape from Tarkov is ultimately a game about kicking over sand castles. Every piece of loot has genuine value, and when you learn that simple roll of blue tape might make you big bucks, like right now, your rucksack suddenly seems like less a bag of different items and more a series of different dollar signs. Ooh, okay. At first, you'll just pick up anything shiny looking, and honestly, anything you can wedge into your bag, but you'll soon learn there are items much more valuable. Long-range optics are particularly prized in those early stage of the game. Oh yeah, definitely. But at any time, I will fight like a cornered animal to extract with a single screw to improve my hideout. That pressure exerts itself in a lot of unique ways. The desire to get high value loot will force you to make stupid choices. Even if you think you know better, the fear that you might lose a load of valuable gear also amps up the tension and can make even simple fights feel like desperate struggles. Get your hands on a set of level 6 armor and you'll be nearly impervious to damage to your torso, but you can also sell it for a big stack of cash, which might be a smart option if you think you are likely to get killed and lose it all. That's what I usually do because, you know, things happen. Ammunition is a commodity too. Good bullets are expensive and hard to come by, and that means you will often try to kill someone in 1 or 2 shots rather than half a magazine. I love mech dumping though. When money is tight, it's not a matter of how much firepower you can point at a problem, but how much you can afford to spend on a fight when you know another could be minutes away. As your character levels up from extracting and completing quests, you earn cash and better standing with in-game traders that lets you buy a better gear, meaning many of these shootouts are asymmetrical, creating another layer of risk versus reward as you never know who else is around the corner. I like this guy. He knows the game very well. Like what he's pointing out, he even makes me think again about the game. Like, oh yeah, you're right, like it's like that. I really like this guy. Escape from Tarkov's final release adds tutorial that aims to imbue all of the knowledge into the players. It's not gonna help, but it really only gives the surface level review, of the game that will drown you if you are not prepared. Boss Rebel, what was this? Tarkov does a terrible job in general of explaining how to stay alive or find success, but the perfect microcosm of this is the medical system, with the tutorial being the only time they can show you how to patch yourself up properly when you are not bleeding to death. But which bandage do you need for your specific injuries? How do you treat a broken arm? Operate on a damaged limb? You need a lot of knowledge to survive in Tarkov, and the game refuses to hand any of it to you. Let me read this bar. Boss level. After years of tweaking and shuffling, Escape Battlestate game seems to have perfected the bosses that populate the levels. Bosses are currently spawning in 70% of matches. Wow, okay. He even knows the percentage of the boss. This guy is dedicated to Tarkov and are lethal, but can be taken out with careful play and coordinated teamwork. Bringing down a boss is one of the Tarkov's hardest challenges, even though they're stupid AIs, but also one of its more rewarding. They're kind of not rewarding right now, but I get what he's trying to say. This is something you see more when you've stopped bleeding to death every 5 seconds. Escape from Tarkov outright fails to signpost maps. You can, and likely will, learn these with a map open on a phone or a second monitor. That's what I recommend too, but the game makes no effort to show where most of the evacuation zones are, and I find it hard to believe many players would stumble upon them without the help of third-party website, for sure. Quests offered by traders are also poorly signposted, and so if the Escape from Tarkov wiki ever goes down, expect people who do know how to do the quests to become valued for their rare knowledge, like the mountain guys of old, like Sherpa. Want to know how to find and repair the 2 specific tool panels you need to fix in a factory filled with them? The factory filled with enemies including a 6-foot-tall giant with an automatic shotgun and a sledgehammer who is Tagilla, just waiting for you to check a guide. Don't worry, little one, I will show you the ways of old. Sherpa. Whether intentionally or not, Escape from Tarkov is a power fantasy where players with the knowledge and better gear have an advantage. Yep, technically any player can kill any another A single 9mm bullet to the face will take care of pretty much every issue, but as more experienced players have every possible advantage. It's a digital meritocracy that has replicated the problems inherent in the system. Despite my enthusiasm, yeah, I can see that enthusiasm, reporter or reviewer, for Escape from Tarkov, this 1.0 review isn't what I was hoping for. I wanted the full release to be the capstone update that completes the game that made extraction shooters happen. Instead, it feels like an incremental update that has quietly axed many of developer Battlestate games planned for the game. Several skills promised to come in the final edition have never materialized, and promised maps have been cut back too. This guy is the true gamer, I think. The 1.0 update brings a huge visual overhaul to the game's interchange map, and there's a heap of extra content in the form of the story mode and tons of different guns. Yep, the desire to get high value loot will force you to make stupid decisions. Yet performance is spottier, and I've noticed the game crashing more. Outside of some slowdown, there hasn't been much to hinder my enjoyment, but it is annoying that the final version of the game rarely feels like it. Yes, I definitely agree. Bro, I like this guy. I want to talk to him. The most baffling inclusion in the 1.0 release is the ability to visit the traders and talk to them in their own habitat. This means the tiny little profile pictures that players have been gazing at for years have been given life, but you only actually go to talk to them when you need to see them for one of the story quests that were also added in the final release, because you can only do this quest by talking to the traders in their 3D spaces, while others can be turned in via a menu. It just feels confusing and unnecessary. Yeah, you're right actually. It was pretty cool at the start, but now it's pretty annoying. The result is two functionality different quest system that work differently and doesn't cross over at all. Yeah, this is Escape from Tarkov's big 1.0 edition, and it's dud. Luckily, it's backed up by a game that's already phenomenal. Yep, wow. There is a slight elephant in the room in that, despite the fact they look the same and technically are the same game, the PvE and PvP version of Tarkov are different animals. PvP, the version of Tarkov you get by buying the game outright, fills each map with a combination of AI enemies and the real-life players. There's a real joy to be found in outsmarting their other players, although Escape from Tarkov's steep learning curve means you are likely to spend your time getting blasted from weird angles with weird sweats. Escape from Tarkov's this DLC. I like this guy a lot. He said DLC. Like, the guys who knows will know what this means. Escape from Tarkov's DLC PvE mode. Like, he didn't have to say that, but he said it. PvE mode is a bit slower and more meditative. The shootouts are just as intense, but the PMC characters, which are usually played by other real players in the base game, are controlled by AI, with a random selection of equipment and loot. These PMCs seem to flank and push smartly in 1.0, but any AI in Escape from Tarkov can quickly take you out if you're not careful. Yeah, I don't think they flank that much, but push definitely more. This version of Tarkov, a mode that I migrated to myself about 6 months ago with the launch of Escape from Tarkov's hardcore wipe, and found fits my 36-year-old reflexes a little better. I knew it. I was about to say that this guy is a PvE player. He is. He's reasonable. He's logical. What he's saying, I can agree so much. He actually analyzes and experiences what he's doing, and he's understanding what the game is. Yo. I knew it. You lose the dizzying high of outsmarting a player and taking his stuff, but it's easier to play and doesn't require you to sacrifice your whole life to the arms race. that typifies Escape from Tarkov's PvP experience. The player base is split over which version is better, but having spent hundreds of hours in each, I think it's really down to personal preference. Yep, for sure. However you choose to play it, Escape from Tarkov is ultimately a game about kicking over sandcastles. Embrace this, the highs and lows of killing other players to take their stuff and then being killed by other player third party so they can take your stuff and you'll have fun. This is the promise all extraction shooters offer, but it's distilled to its purest form here. For sure, 100%. An extraction shooter that will make you truly miserable if you let it, but can offer dizzying highs you won't find elsewhere. Escape from Tarkov 1.0 release is a slight disappointment, but the core that makes it shine is intact and worth the time of any FPS fan curious to try it out for themselves. I like this guy, Jack Tucker. Like, you know what's funny? I don't regret reading this guy at all. But you know what's funny? I can understand why Nikita posted this one, whereas Ultimate, who is like, less popular than obviously Nikita, posted the other one. I'm like, I understand it why. What's his score? Let's see. His score was 5 out of 5. Even with all those defects, he loves it so much, so he gave 5 out of 5. But if you actually read it, it's not like that. No, 8 out of 10. My bad. What? Oh, my bad. It's because of the dark mode. It's 8 out of 10. Yeah, I understand why a lesser popular guy posted the most reasonable talking, and Nikita, who's the most popular like representative, posted the weird but giving so high score. Anyways, guys, those are the things we could read through. I have no clue what this guy is saying. Most of them, like 90% of them, it was weird. Bro, this title of the video was gonna be like so much different reviews of Escape from Tarkov or something like that. And this guy, I agree, like 99% of the time, it was like actually phenomenal reading it, because he was like reading through my mind and then like improving it better. What do you guys think? Do tell me in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like these kind of contents, please leave a like. And also, if you want to check me out on live, check out Twitch and YouTube and Kickstream. Especially on Twitch, we're doing drops. And I'll see you in the next video. Especially we're doing sub reward drops. Goodbye, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.